The strange thing about a war is that it rarely begins with the moment you expect. It doesn't start when the first punch is thrown or when the first shot is fired. It begins earlier, quieter, when something small shifts under the surface, and suddenly everyone feels it without knowing why. That's how the day felt when the angels woke up. The air was heavy, like the city had exhaled everything warm and familiar and replaced it with something colder. Something watching, something waiting. 40 hours remained in the window Sonny warned about, and that number hung over the clubhouse like a storm cloud. The world outside looked normal, but normal had become suspicious. The absence of unmarked cars felt strategic. The lack of police presence felt eerie. Even the rival's silence felt calculated. Quiet wasn't peace. Quiet was setup. The first call came mid-morning. A brother in San Leandro said his shop had been tampered with. Not trashed, just touched. Tools moved. A drawer slightly open. A piece of paper out of place. Nothing stolen, nothing damaged, but nothing right. Minutes later, another brother called with the same story. Then another. Tiny disruptions, harmless on their own, but spreading in a pattern too consistent to ignore. Someone wasn't attacking. Someone was signaling. This is where most viewers start drifting, so the story tightens here. At 11:03 a.m., a message hit one brother's phone. No sender. No text. Just a photo of a biker jacket draped over a chain-link fence. Not a random jacket, an angel's jacket. And behind it, two silhouettes taking pictures, their outlines sharp enough to make intention unmistakable. Two-Tone grabbed the phone. His face strained. "That's my cut." No one spoke. Because everyone understood what the photo meant. Someone wasn't waiting for the angels to make a mistake. Someone was manufacturing one. As the hours crawled by, another layer of the setup emerged. The rival club already manipulated once began showing up again, not in force, not aggressive, just hovering at the edges of angels' territory like ghost riders. One bike outside a diner, two parked at a dock, a pair cruising slowly through a warehouse corridor as if tracing an invisible line someone had drawn for them. They weren't making a move, they were being positioned. And nothing is more dangerous than an enemy being steered by an unseen hand. Inside the clubhouse, patients began collapsing under weight. The tension wasn't loud, it was internal. Two-Tone paced like a caged animal, muttering that they looked weak. That sitting still wasn't helping. That rivals inching closer was a challenge they couldn't ignore. Little Mike argued they had to hold the line. Another brother slammed a chair back so hard it scraped the concrete. The air inside the room started to sharpen at the edges, the kind of sharp that cuts a club into factions. Sonny watched the fracture happen, two sides forming without anyone meaning to, the patient and the enraged, the thinkers and the hitters, both loyal, both dangerous in their own way. And California was counting on exactly that. Then the moment came. Just after sunset, 3 rival bikes rolled to a stop directly in front of the clubhouse. No engines revving, no threats, no gestures. Just stillness, headlights barely humming through the fog. Two-Tone exploded out the door before anyone could grab him, helmet in hand. Jaw clenched, breath shaking. He walked straight toward the rival leader. "What do you want?" The rival didn't speak. He tilted his head slightly toward the corner of the street. A black SUV was parked there. The same model from the night before, windows tinted, engine running. Like a camera disguised as a vehicle, waiting, recording, hoping. Sonny stepped outside slowly, eyes locked on the SUV. "The cameras," he murmured. "They're rolling." Two-Tone's fists clenched so hard his knuckles went white. The rival leader leaned in just enough for the words to be private. "They told us you were coming." It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a warning. It was bait. And Two-Tone was seconds away from taking it. He lifted his arm, not to punch, but to point, to shout, to escalate, and that was enough. In California's eyes, even a gesture could be a spark. Before the moment could ignite, Sonny stepped between them. No aggression, no force, just presence. Enough presence to interrupt the trap. "You ain't from this street," Sonny said. "And if you're here, someone sent you." The rival leader smiled. Thin, knowing smile, and the three bikes slowly rolled away. Not defeated. Not intimidated. Just finished with their part in the setup. But the SUV didn't move. It watched the entire time like it was waiting to see what the angels would do next. Back inside, the argument grew quieter but sharper, the kind of quiet that cuts deeper than yelling. Two-Tone insisted he should have confronted them harder. Others called it suicide. Sonny stayed at the edge of the room, watching the fire build behind the brothers' eyes. He knew exactly what California wanted. Not violence from an enemy, but violence from within. Then someone knocked on the door. One knock, sharp, intentional. Sonny opened it. A young reporter stood outside, notebook trembling, eyes wide with fear she wasn't even trying to hide. She whispered, "They told us to wait here." "Wait for what?" Sonny asked. She took a breath, swallowed, and said, "For the raid." The room froze. Because that was no rumor, no threat, no bluff. That was the first strike. Not the impact, but the signal that it was already on its way. And every angel in that room felt the same cold truth settling into their bones. War wasn't coming. War was already walking up the steps.